Hi, good day to everybody. So I'm back again. This is Mom Mabel. I'm here to now teach you regarding about the two remaining types of conditionals in argument, which is the second conditional and the third conditional. So if we are going to recall, we said that conditional sentences have four types. We have zero, first, second, and third. Last week, we have learned about zero and first conditional on my last video. This time, we are going to focus regarding about the second and third conditional sentences. Before we go to and talk about this lesson, I have just a simple question in here. What is your wish in life? Maybe some of you wishes to have the love of your life, or do you wish to be a millionaire? Not just a million peso, but $1 million, or do you wish to travel the world, around the world, or do you wish to be famous, or do you wish to be a professional? So our wishes, we can be able to express it using conditional sentences. So if you have any wishes in here, which you choose, or if you have any in your mind, later on, let us see how we can use those wishes in a conditional sentence form. Now, let us learn the meaning of second conditional. Second conditional is used in dealing with things which is impossible in the present and are unlikely to occur in the future. It is formed using this structure, which is on the down part, or the meaning is also telling about if we are daydreaming. It's just like if we daydream something, we can use second conditional to express it. Okay? So the structure is in our if or when clause, we need to use a past simple tense of the verb. And in our main clause, we need to use the word and the infinitive of the verb or the base form of the verb. The examples are if I only pass the test, I would celebrate and party. If I would buy a new phone, I would buy a new phone if I receive a lot of money. So let us now check if these two sentences follows the meaning that was given in this slide. It said that second conditional is used to deal with things which is impossible in the present. Possible that the speaker of the first sentence is a student, which is not yet happened to pass the test. Okay, so maybe the speaker is daydreaming, right? If I only pass the test, okay, so that is the one that is telling here impossible in the present. Or the next one is if I only pass the test, that is maybe he is daydreaming, and then the main clause could be I would celebrate and party. This celebration and party that the speaker will do in the future is what the meaning of this second conditional is telling. It is somehow unlikely to occur in the future. It will occur in the future if this daydreaming is happened. But then this when we say daydreaming, it's not real. That's why it's called dreaming, right? So another, I would buy a new phone if I receive a lot of money. Okay? So what does the speaker daydream? What is the impossible um situation in the past that was not yet happened in the present if the speaker receive a lot of money? Possible the speaker don't have a lot of money, so he daydream it. So that's why he used second conditional. Okay, so if ever he have received a lot of money, if that daydream would happen, okay, he would buy a new phone. That is the unlikely to occur in the future. So, whenever we are dreaming something which is somehow impossible at the present to happen, we use a second conditional sentences. Okay? So, the if clause must be in a past simple tense of the verb. In the first example, the past simple tense of the verb in here is past. How do we say that this is simple past tense? It's because it ended with D or ED. Any verb ending with D or ED considered to be in a past tense. And then in here, if I receive, this is our if clause, so our verb in here is receive. So we can say that receive is also in past tense because it's end with D and ED. Okay, therefore, the if clause of number one and number two follows the format or the structure of second conditional. Let us now look at the main clause. The main clause in the first sentence must follow would plus infinitive of the verb. It is in here, it is would, and the infinitive of the verb celebrate or the base form of the verb celebrate was also present. So therefore, our first sentence is considered to be a second conditional sentence. Let us now look the main clause of the second conditional, which is I would buy a new phone. Okay, so the would is here, it's present in here, and the verb is in infinitive form or in base form. There's nothing to add when we say infinitive or base form. If it's celebrate, then it's just celebrate. No S, no ED, no change of spelling. If it's buy, then it's buy. So therefore, we conclude that the two sentences in here are in the second conditional form of statement. So I have here another example of second conditional. So if it's if clause, we need to use a past tense of the verb, and our main clause will use would plus infinitive. If I were rich, I would travel the world. So the if clause using the past tense because of the word where. It came from the simple tense are. If we will make are in past tense, we will use were. We need to use were. It's because our subject in here I is plural in form. Okay, if it's plural we need to use were, not if it's singular we need to use was. So in our main clause we have in here would and the travel, which is the infinitive or the base form of this verb, would and then travel. So therefore, since the structure is in the sentence, we can say that the sentence is in the second conditional statement. We use the structure if plus past form of the verb and then would plus infinitive to talk about an improbable or hypothetical situation and consequence, or meaning to say not have been happened. Okay. If I knew his phone number, I would call him. So look at the pictures in here. Someone is dreaming a phone number of this month. So it's just like you are day doing a daydreaming. So you must use the second conditional sentence if I knew, which is in past tense, and the main clause will be used would plus base form of the verb call. If I won the lottery, that is simple past, I would buy a big house. No? Para siyang nananaginip dito. It's just like he's dreaming. If I won the lottery, I would go on trip. If I won the lottery, I would make a big party. If I won the lottery, I would leave my job. So the structure has been followed like using the past, simple past tense, and then the would and base form, would and base form go, would and base form make, would and base form live. So let us now recall what is the simple past tense of the verb. So the things we need to remember normally, the simple past tense of the verb are the verbs that ending with D or ED. And this is used to tell that we are talking about the past. We add D to verbs ending in E, just like the word decide. We just need to add D in there to make it in past tense, so it will be decided. A verb is an action word, so a doing word. Okay, so we need to use D or ED in the action word or in the verb in the sentence. So just like for example, for the word play, jump, dance, for the word played, jump, which is ending with consonant, we just need to add ed. But if the verb ending with e, you just need to add d. So add ed or just add d to make it in past tense. So I have here more examples. Actually, you can still browse on some book references, and even in the internet, you can see in there different kinds of past tense. How are you going to make the present tense of the verb into past tense by adding d or ed? So we have talked, we become talked, walked, played, laughed, helped, asked, answered, finished, looked, loved, watched, cooked, closed, worked, and washed. But sometimes we will meet a verb which is irregular in form. So irregular verbs, these are the verbs that undergo substantial changes. When changing form between tenses are irregular. The changed form of these verbs are often unrecognizably different from the original. Okay, so sometimes it we didn't recognize it. It's because sometimes they still have the same letter in their spelling, just like here we have in here the base form b. There is a big difference regarding about making it in simple past. Be will become was and were in simple past tense, no? And then the base form bit, if we will make it in simple past tense, will still become bit. There are some, this is part of an irregular verbs wherein some of them maintain their base form and their simple past. But there are some who change spellings, like become will became. So there are some letters in here just stay, just like the B, E, C, M, E, and just deeper with the use of O and A. And then we also have begin, begun. So in the base form it's used I, but in the simple past it's used now. So the tip that I can give for irregular verbs is we need to memorize, or we need to be familiar with the irregular verbs. How do they form their simple past tense? So we need to read and we need to research. Okay. So I have in here some tables of verb which is in simple past tense but in irregular form, meaning they have some changes in their spelling. Like begin will become began, blow, blew, drink, drank, dig, dug, fall, fell, grow, grew, ride, rode, rise, rose, run, run, shine, shone, sit, sat, throw, threw, win, won, become, became, come, came, drew, drew, forget, forgot, give, gave, get, got, know, knew, ring, rung, sing, sung, sink, sunk, swim, swam, wake, woke, write, wrote. So let's just have some small activity. You can pause this video to write down the past tense of the verb of the verbs that I have listed in here. Okay, so how are you going to make these verbs in a past tense? Some of here are regular and some of here are irregular verb. You can pause it for a while. Okay, so I thought you already have now your answer. Let us now check if you got the correct answer of making this verb into past tense. So wash will become washed, played, hopped, wherein we use the last phoneme in here, P. We need to make it doubled when we make it in, when we need to add D or ED in here, because based on the rule, if we will recall, if it's a short vowel sound like the O, hop, okay, and it's one syllable only, like hop, it's one syllable, then we need to double the last phoneme, which is P, and then add ED. And then wrote, begun, chosen, drew, gave, made, new. Oh, however, I think this one must be chose without n. Okay, later on we will use chosen if we talk about past participle of the verb. But then for the past tense of chose, it must be it. For the past tense of choose, it must be chose. So again, to recall, second conditional statement is used in dealing with things which is impossible in the present and are unlikely to occur in the future. It's because it's impossible na nga in the present, so it can unlikely to be occur in the future. Hindi rin siya po pwedeng mangyari sa future kasi even in the present, hindi na nga siya nangyari. It's not real. So, unlikely, that is also the same with the result of the conditional sentence that it will not also happen in the future. So another second conditional may be telling about I'm imagining some dream. So second conditional is also formed by using the structure if or when clause is past simple, and then the main clause is would or infinitive of the verb plus infinitive of the verb or the base form, like if I were a boy I would do everything to please my girl. So let us check the structure. It's just like where is the past tense, in our if clause, and then we have here would and infinitive of the verb do or the base form do. So we can say maybe we can judge that the speaker of this sentence is a girl because the impossible things in the present is she's a girl and she's not a boy. So maybe she said that if I were a boy, I will do everything to please my girl. And look at the result. It is really not to occur in the future because in the very first place, the thought of telling if I were a boy is not really happening in the moment because possible that the speaker is a girl. Third conditional is used in dealing with things or change in past scenario, yielding to different results. It is formed using this structure. So the third conditional now has um, dealing about the change in the past. So meaning to say it really happened in the past. It's just like if you can turn back time, what will you do? Right? So if we wanted to tell something from the past and we wanted to give a different result. Actually, it's in past because we can say that it already has result. But then if we would like to state any past scenario and we wanted to give changes on its result, we must use third conditional. So in third conditional, it also have a structure. So in our if clause, we need to use the past perfect tense of the verb or the use of had and the past tense of the verb. And then in our main clause, we need to use the would plus have plus past participle. Okay, so just like in here, if she had studied harder, she would have stayed in her post. Okay, so maybe we can say that the speaker in here is already in a particular work at the moment. No, so in her life before, it said that she didn't study hard. That is the past scenario that you that she wanted to state that she wanted to have a different result. Okay, so what could be the result if she had studied hard? She said that she would have stayed in her post. Okay, possible that that post it could be the stand in the work or in the job as of the moment. And another they have there, Antonio would have been an engineer if he had finished his studies. So the if he had finished his studies was the past scenario that the speaking was telling about. And he wanted to change the result of this, right? Just like if if he had finished his studies before, possible that he will be an engineer at the moment, right? So maybe at the moment the result is he is not an engineer. Kaya bumabalik na lang siya. Sa Pilipino, ito yung statement natin na kung kung mag kung natapos ko lang ang aking pag-aaral, siguro engineer na ako ngayon. So, your statement is just like you're recalling the time way back before, right? Now, let us try to check if this conditional sentences follow its structure. So, if clause must be past perfect or the use of had plus the D or ED or the past tense. Okay? So we can say that if she had studied harder, so we can say in here that I think it must be past participle. Okay? So when we say past participle, sometimes the verb ends with D or ED if it's regular, but then if it's irregular, sometimes it's still use the simple past tense form, or sometimes the others ended with N or EN. So in here, if she had studied, so the past perfect is the use of had, and then studied, that is in past perfect. It is from the base form study. So if you wanted to make the verb study in past perfect tense, need to have the past participle which is studied. So therefore, we can say that this clause follow the verb that it must be used. We have here also on the main clause, she would have stayed. So we have would, have, and then the past participle of the verb stay is stayed, which is in ed. And another in here, this is the main clause, Antonio would have, and then the past participle of The verb be is been. This is what I'm telling about, that there are some verb that when they became past participle, they ended with n or en. And then we also have in here in the if clause, there must be a use of had and the verb in past participle, which is d or ed. So third conditional is just like you wanted to go back in to the past. So if ever that would happen, what would you do? What would you have done differently, right? So for the irregular verbs, for the past participle, look at this. So the base form is be. If you make it simple past, it is was and were. But if you wanted to make it in past participle, it's ended with and it's became been. And then beat, and then simple past beat. And then pagdating sa past participle, it's became beaten with an N and EN. So we have also become, became, and then if it's past participle, it's almost returned to its base form with the O, and then begin, begone, and then in here, this three kind of words has different set of verbs. Like in here, base form it's in with the vowel e, in here the vowel a, and in here the vowel o. All right. So my clue for you, in order for you to know if how to make the past participle of the verb, is to read, research, and be familiar with the construction of the verb if it's past participle. So remember that if it's a regular verb, just like study, listen, decide, if you will make it in past participle, it will be just studied, listened, decided. It's just like you add d or ed to the verb. And then if it's irregular verbs, okay, like become, so the past participle will stay become, break, broken, bring, brought, buy, bought, do, done, draw, drawn, drink, drunk, eat, eaten, feel, felt, find, found, go, gone, have had, hear, heard, kept, kept, read, read, run, run, say, said, she, see, seen, teach, taught, and write, written. The past participle is a verb from which is used in the formation of many tenses. It is made by adding ed, just like this, at the end of the verbs, but there are many verbs that are irregular. Some of them ended with n, right? Like the drawn and the broken, and en. But some maintain their past tense. Like let us see here. This kept in past tense is also kept. Okay. This said in past tense is also said. Okay. So let us have another activity by writing the past participle of the following verbs. So I have in here begin, blow, break, buy, catch, do, come, be. You can pause this video for you to try to answer this simple activity. And you can press play if you want to know the answers. So now let me reveal what are the past participle of this verb. So we have begin will become begun, blown, broken, bought, caught, done, came, and been. So let us try to answer this by putting the correct form of the verb to make it in third conditional. So I have in here, if I blank alive 2 years ago, I blank a romance. So both verbs are be. So you can pause this for a while to answer this simple activity. If you're done, you can press play. Okay, so let us now reveal what's the answer. So for number one, it must be if I had been, because if you remember, the past participle is the use of had, and the past perfect, I mean, is the use of had and then past participle. So on the main clause, it must be with the use of would, have, and then the past participle, which is in here would have, and then be became been. So we will read it this way: if I had been alive 2 years ago, I would have been a Roman. Okay, so it's like you turn back time 2 years ago. For number two, the answer is if the thief had run, because it must be in past perfect, faster, the police would have caught him. Okay, so it's just like the speaker is turning it back time. Okay, when there is an incident. Number three, If I had listened to your voice, I would not have been in a mess. So in here, it is in a negative form, and that is also okay. Okay, you just need to put not in here. So if I had listened, that is the past perfect or had plus past participle, and then in here we need to use the would, and then to negate it, you need to use not wouldn't or the shortened wouldn't, and then plus have, and then the be will become now been as a past participle. So let us now recall what is the difference between second and third conditional. So when we say second conditional, the if clause uses past simple tense of the verb, and the main clause use would plus base form or plus infinitive. Okay. But in third conditional, somehow it has a long form of the verb. The if clause used the past perfect or had plus the past participle, and then the main clause would use would plus have plus the past participle of the verb. Second conditional deals with the things which is impossible in the present and are unlikely to occur in the future. It's just like you are daydreaming. So the third conditional is dealing with things or change in past scenario, yielding to different results. So if you just wanted to turn back time, which really happened before, and maybe think what could be the possible result to just give a change on that past, then you need to use a third conditional statement. Right? It's just like going back time to the past in the third conditional and daydreaming in second conditional. So that's all. I hope you understand our lesson for today. But before I really say goodbye for everybody, I would like also to have a preview and some guidance. How could you answer the learning task in our module? So learning task 7, it says that you need to read and analyze the excerpted lines taken from Martin Luther King's speech entitled I Have a Dream. The whole text may be accessed at the https://www.americanrhetoric.com or speeches slash mlk have a dream.htm. Okay, so if you have an access in an internet, you can click or type this link, and then you can also copy and answer that in your notebook. But if you don't have any way to have a review on this Martin Luther King speech, then actually there is already a excerpt in here. So the excerpt that Martin Luther tells about the speech is already in here, and this is only the excerpt that you need to analyze. Okay, so for example, the excerpt is, or yung when you say excerpt, ito yung mga part doon sa buong speech. Okay, and nakasulat na rin po siya dito. If ever na we cannot access this link, then we can just focus in here. And anyway, from the title itself, it tells us a message really, what is this, kaya I have a dream, no, may possible that that dream is for the goodness of everyone, or possible it's for the country. So now is the time to make real the promises of democracy. Now is the time to rise from the dark and desolate valley of segregation to the sunlit path of racial justice. Now is the time to lift our nation from quicksand of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood. So you can be able to do to analyze this by subordination. Let us try to look at the words that can give us clue. We can use context clues in here, such as democracy, and then rise from the dark, right? So possible that the Martin Luther King speech is about the freedom, or how we can be able to say that we really have democracy. He also talks about racial justice. So pwede nating paganahin ng ating kaisipan para intindihin itong excerpt na to. So after an excerpt, there are questions below, no? Itong mga question na to is, it could be for your own opinion. In social injustice, if social injustice had not existed, what would probably the experience of his people? Okay, so maybe we can say, based on the expert, this is excerpt, this is how I understand it. If I will be given a chance to share my idea, ito yung pwedeng sentence na mabuo mo. If social injustice had not existed, there would have been racial discrimination. And as what you see, saan ko nakuha itong mga words like social injustice, andito rin siya sa question. And then, ginamit ko na rin mismo yung verb niya, had not existed. Remember, this is third conditional wherein we use had and the past participle. No? Nagkaroon lang siya ng not kasi negation yung ating clause dito. And then, what will probably the experience? Since I see in here would, I need to incorporate that on my clause. Possible, this is third conditional, so I need to have subject there, and then the verb would plus have plus, and I want to use the verb be. So the past participle of be is been. So there would have been. From there on, nakagawa na ako ng third conditional sentence ko. There would have been racial discrimination. As well as, na-answer ko rin itong number one. Itong learning task na to, it will let you analyze the excerpted lines, and at the same time to apply the use of third conditional for you to argue also and to express your opinion about this question. So, ganun lang naman. So, may isa pang question dito sa ilalim, number 2, then 3, 4, 5, 6. You just need to answer it using conditional sentences. Learning task 9 naman is you need to analyze the song entitled Locked Away. So if you have an internet, you can also try to listen for this song. It says that you need to copy it on your notebook, then do the following. Maybe it's okay if we cannot be able to copy this in our notebook. Let's just analyze the whole lyrics, okay? So first thing that you need to do is you need to identify a statement expressing conditions by highlighting it. So kakopyahin natin um, yung lyrics sa isang papel, pwedeng sa intermediate or sa bond paper kasi kailangan pala natin siyang i-highlight. Kanina sabi ko wag na. But then since that is the first thing that we need to do, so we need to highlight, we can use a highlighter kung meron tayong highlighter sa bahay. Or maybe we can use lines or circle it to highlight na nakita mo talaga yung conditional sentences. Kung ako ang answer, I can highlight this. It started with if clause and ito. And as what you see, marami pa dyan. Okay? So, if I will analyze what I highlight, number 2, what you need to do is you need to classify. Is it zero, first, second, or third conditional? So here's my answer. Itong naka-highlight na if I got blank away, it's second conditional for me. It's because after the subject, the verb got is in past tense, right? And second conditional use past tense in the if clause. The same with this, if I showed, so the showed in here ended with D or ED, indicating that this is past tense. So second conditional using past tense, so I answer second conditional. And then, after mong ma-highlight and malagyan, malabeled kung anong conditional type po iyon, number 3, you need to explain in 4 to 5 sentences the meaning of the song, the whole song. Ano bang meaning nito sa'yo? Kung ako ay bibigyan ng chance na i-answer, I have in here 2 sentence pa lang. So, ayan. And then, ito yung aking second. Ang sabi po dito ay 45 sentence. So, dagdagan natin. Or, I give you idea. Kung ako ang mag-interpret, I can say, this song means if you love someone, even in her or him worst thing, you will love him or her truly. Right? 'Di ba? So, no matter what, if your love for him or her is true, you need to accept everything about him or her, even though they can't give you a material thing that you need in life. Okay? So, ang ganda kasi ng meaning ng song na to. You can add in here 3 sentences, or you can revise this as well if you believe on my idea. Learning task 10, so you need to write a lyrics in English using the music or rhythm of your favorite song. Your favorite song could be a Tagalog song or an English song. But then, if you make the lyrics, make sure that the lyrics is in English form. So the lyrics should contain conditionals and focus on any of the following topics. Yung lyrics na gagawin natin ay dito lang sa topic na to iikot. Isa lang. For example, gusto natin na topic ay COVID-19 crisis in the Philippines, yun lang yung gagawa natin ng lyrics tungkol sa COVID. Or if you want unemployment and underemployment, if you want about poverty, current education situation, and anti-terror law, it's up to you. So, my tip is, kung ano yung topic na mas may alam tayo, okay, we can use that. For example, if I'm giving a chance to write a lyrics, yan, ito yung chorus part ng When I Look at You eh. But when you do a lyrics, it must start with the first stanza, right? Susundan niyo po yun. But I just did the chorus to give you an example. How does it look like? So, di ba? chorus of When I Look at You. Ang gusto kong topic ay ito, yung COVID-19 crisis in the Philippines. That's what I choose. So look at my lyrics. If you stay at home, you'll be safe from COVID. You'll help the world to remove the virus because you follow the rules. If I'm going to sing, if you stay at home, you'll be safe from COVID, right? You help the world to remove the virus because you follow the rules. So, yun, ganon. So, you just need to make a lyrics from your chosen topics. And of course, don't forget to incorporate conditional sentences. Right? So, learning task 11, I think this is the last task in grade 9 module for first grading. Choose one of the situations below. Create a Bible strips or comic strips. Siguro familiar naman tayo sa comic strips. Ito yung sa mga dyaryo, right? Wherein may mga characters and they have strips above their head or I call it also bubble strips kasi parang parang bula, right? And then there you can read what the character is saying. So you need to explain what you would say if given the chance to confront the person who was were caught doing any of the wrong deeds. So you will use the conditional sentence to explain, to confront, if you will be given a chance to confront this following person. Halimbawa, makausap mo yung isang classmate na nambubuli ng new student, what will you say by using conditionals? No, kaya, what will you say if your younger brother or sister was caught stealing coins from your mom purse? A group of boys having a fist fight along the street. Sabi dito, one situation lang. So, isa lang yung inyong gagawin. Okay? So, this is just an example. I choose a classmate who was bullying a new student. So this is my speaker. This is the one who bullied the classmate, and the classmate who has been bullied ran away, no? So he talks, he ko-confront niya ito, and then he will say, maybe kung ako ang bibigyan ng chance, I can say, if you had treated him fair, he would have been your best friend. So I used third conditional because I wanted to turn back time na sana kung tinreat na lang niya ng mabuti, 'di ba? Baka naging mag-best friend pa sila. I wanted to change the result, unlike kung ano yung nangyayari ngayon. So in here I use had because it says that it if clause you need to use had, and the past participle of treat is treated, and then in my main clause I use would plus the use of have, and my verb been is now in past participle been. All right. So that's all. I hope you have learned about what do I share for today, and I hope that even though we are not facing each other, I hope you will study hard. May God bless you always, and see you again on next week for the next lesson. Goodbye. God bless. This is Ma'am Mabel. Thank you.